if you only see a certain perspective in the media that you consume, your mind is just going to inevitably be skewed that way.
All of the knowledge and all of the iteration simply comes from trying to solve problems.
Good people who are looking for the truth to help their children, let's say, they are being actively lied to.
Oh yeah, we're super live. Check it, Matt. Check the audio, man.
Test.
No, we're good. We're not testing. We're live, boy.
We're live.
Podcast is started.
We're living.
We're living.
We're
I'm not.
live. We're living, and we're winning.
Oh man, in linen as well.
In the new SolBrah linens. Link in description.
It's not out yet, but we will put.
They
the
will
link in.
come out.
Yeah,
They're great. I
Yeah.
really like them a lot.
100% organic.
They're
by the way.
amazing. They are amazing.
Very
and
crispy, very tasteful.
And it even makes
Yeah.
these two guys look good. So
oh my God,
that's a
That's
tough,
a really
tough
tough
prospect.
scene.
he really doesn't.
really tough
he really
scene.
doesn't like us or anything.
Hey, I love you guys.
We love
Truthfully,
you too.
Love having you here, man. Back second episode with SolBrah. This is episode 28 though. Yeah, we just did 27 a couple days ago.
the number of money and wealth.
That's correct.
God wants
Good
us
timing.
to. How about that? Yeah, we're back. Southern California. Or
You know, let's talk about that. Cause I hear from you a new place you want to live every week. First is I want to stay in Miami. I don't want to leave. And then I'm gonna move to Argentina this year. And then we come here and I hear I'm coming to California. I'm staying here in California. So which one is it, man? What's
midlife
going on?
crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think humans are inherently nomadic, and one place your whole life, or not even your whole life, even for a few years in a row, it's like, you can do a place well in a year and a half, 2 years, and then I just feel like, especially where we're at with our lives, don't have families yet, to live in different places, and even if that's just long-term travel or travel in general, people always shit on travel. Like, oh yeah, you're running away from yourself. It's like, no, I'm experiencing all the different areas and environments, and that's pinging off different ideas, and it just grows you in so many ways.
Yeah, I agree. I also think like just the newness of the environment allows you to kind of like, it just breaks patterns and habits, and just, like people just get locked into the same things. The people they're around keep them doing good or bad. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you just get very ritualistic. And I've loved the travel that I've done. It's been amazing. Right now it's crazy because it's just
Well, I think it
hectic.
depends on what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
We don't have, like, this morning, I think I was on 6 or 7 calls, actually. It's difficult when you're going places. Like, I got a flight, I got this, Uber, whatever.
Everything's super cranked early here too.
Yeah. Well, I think the big issue where we felt is the time zone. Like, PST, man, I don't know how you work on PST. Well, you don't take calls like we take calls.
No, I barely take any calls, really. Most of my business is just texting, Telegram.
Yeah.
But you guys are doing it at a higher level than I am at the moment.
I don't know that I would say
I
that.
wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
More
It's
calls.
just different.
More calls
No, they're
and-
just different businesses. Like, you have
Yeah.
very like long building. I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah.
You're doing work versus communicating work.
Yeah. And I think that was
neither one is better. They just are.
exactly, it's what you're suited for. But I've specifically designed the businesses to work around my schedule, because what's the point of building a business if you're just building a prison for yourself, and you have to, to each their own. Again, this is not a judgment. It's just, for me, seeing CEOs or founders where that's the only thing that they do 24 hours a day. They don't sleep well, they don't eat well, because they think that that's not necessary. And for some people, like, maybe they're just doing so much.
Yeah.
But it's
I
not for me.
super agree with that. I think it depends as well on the outcome that's wanted from it. I can't speak to yours, right? 'Cause I don't think we've ever talked about that, really. But mine is, I know this is what I need to do to get what I want. I know this is what I need to do to get the cash flow needed to go and buy the properties, so then I can then have the money that's at a way higher leverage than if I were to choose to just chill, do a lifestyle business right now, at least in my mind, right? If I did a lifestyle business right now, I'm not going to get to the crazy numbers and the crazy, property and the buying of the investing and whatever for years and years and years. What I view right now is the operation to speed that up and get to that outcome faster. And then it's just lifestyle around that.
It's interesting though, because he's like, the projects you have are that because there is like a wealth play, because there is the equity of the brand
Yes, it's true.
itself. Our business,
And I also think his is different because your apparel, your sups, it's branded as you, and then you have to live that itself, and it's who you already are. It's just the way you integrate in the business is just seamless. And it's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just come from, and it hits that way because it is how I've figured out how to live my life. And then, okay, what do I use to live this life, or what do I like to wear, for example, or supplements that I use? And the supplement specifically was, I need this thing, and I kind of like this thing, but it's not perfect, and then maybe it's produced in a different country. So I was like, okay, well, let's do a better version of that. Because I want to use it.
Let's talk about the process for getting like supplements and designing clothing, and
Sure.
what's your creative process? How did you do it? How did it like even stumble upon it? Obviously, you just said you wanted to find new, like better ways, and then you said, okay, I'm gonna make it myself.
Yeah.
But how did that all come about, and how did it come to be?
Well, again, you have the idea, and the idea comes to you more so. It's not my idea. It's the idea that I've been chosen by God to exact into this world at this point in time. And that's been really the story of building all the businesses, is what's the next thing? How do we do that thing? And then once that thing is done, what's the next thing? And then it all kind of comes out of that. But as far as the specifics, it's idea comes to you. Say we want to do a niacin, for example, is a new product that we came out with. There are niacins out there. You just have to find a supplier and talk to them about what kind of product that you want to do. Can they do it? Can they do it in this way? If not, cool, go find someone else. That's pretty much the process for supplements. Then you got to test the samples that you get through. Is it actually good? Is it actually what they say that it is? And that, because I would never put out something that I haven't tried myself, used myself, and actually makes a meaningful difference, at least the supplements. The apparel, obviously a different process, but that again was kind of brought out of me wanting to, okay, I just want like a classic cotton short, which is about 4.5 inch inseam. All the ones, or most of the ones that you find on the market or see that are popular are these days either polyester or it's just like baggy or not the right fit. And I think they had that all sorted in, the classic era, the 70s, the 80s, where they were doing this kind of stuff and the shorts were shorter. And like, I just like that aesthetic a lot more. So again, find a supplier, talk to them. Hey, can you make this? Is it better if we do it over here? Run a sample of a design. Maybe you have to find a specific material. Like for this, we had to get just big, huge rolls of organic linen and then design the shirt specifically, design the short specifically into a pattern. And then a pattern you can apply to any material. So if we want, we can make these in cotton or hemp or something like that. Once we have the pattern, that all has to go to be cut, then sewn, then stitched, then buttons and things, finishing, shipping to your whoever's going to send them out at the end of the day to the customer. And each of those things is like maybe a back and forth of emails, testing things. Oh, this actually looks terrible. A couple times have come back. Oh, the embroidery is not really in the right place. The fit doesn't quite work well at the shoulder compared to the neck. All that kind of stuff, which is like iterations, and the first things that we did are never going to be as good as the stuff that we do now. And what I'll be doing in a few years' time is going to be a further iteration and improvement upon what I'm doing. And it's the same thing. It's like once you get further into the process of being a professional in that kind of world, you realize what works better, what you want to do, and same really applies to any process.
Yeah, everything has been so iterative the past. Like you just build and build and build, and then things just compound and make more sense and work a little bit better.
Yeah.
And you arrive at something that's just like, it's actually crazy to look back like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, how much our company's changed.
But why do we iterate when others don't?
I think a lot of people iterate.
A lot of people, at least I see, like they get not stuck, but they just get comfortable, and then they like chill and they stop iterating. And then someone bigger that does it better comes in and takes their market share.
People want different things.
I know, but why do people stop iterating in general? Is it just because they get comfortable, do you think? Do you think that, like, what makes... Because we're crazy.
Yeah, I think it's like just what the intention, like what are you in it for?
It's true. I mean, like I look at us. Last night, it's midnight, and we're like, dude, how do we solve this problem? And we're like, me, you, Matt are just going back and forth for an hour, and we figure it out at like Pacific time, midnight, whatever. We have to wake up for calls soon, a couple hours. Like, what? I don't know. What makes that difference?
It's what your intention is. Like, some people, and he's very much not like this, but some people have just like they have an outcome intention, and then if you get there, then it's like, okay.
What are some common
really
outcome
the
intentions?
Process. They're not sitting there thinking, how can I just do the best thing?
Like the guy that wants the car, the guy that is doing it for the house.
Car, they want status, they want this. Or maybe there's even other things. Maybe they just want to spend more time with their family.
Yeah.
You know? There's a lot of different intentions, but I think all of our intentions, like just actually sitting there, how can we solve this problem with the absolute best process? And that is, there's no like thing you do where it's not like, oh wow, I sold this many linen shirts, I'm done making linen shirts. Like, no, I'm gonna make a better linen shirt because that's what I'm trying to do in the first place.
Fundamentally behind that is the perspective of being able to look at yourself. It's like, okay, how can I improve? If you don't feel like, one, you need to improve, or you have like an ego thing that makes you feel like, oh, I don't need to improve at anything, then that you're obviously not going to try and iterate or whatever. But if you understand that, constant student, in order to get to that mastery stage, and even when there's no master stage, right? You just like keep on doing better. Mm-hmm. If you have that attitude, then you're always going to be looking for, how did I do this bad? Even with you redoing the video take that you were doing before, mm-hmm. It's like, okay, that's an iteration, is just practicing, doing it again. Slight tweaks. I maybe said something that, maybe if you drop that bit and made it more concise, things like that. Like, some people will get upset that I commented on their performance, but you're just like, all right, how can we do it better? Mm-hmm. And that's very, very kind of the underlying principle that you should have.
Yeah, 100%.
To me, that it's interesting. We talked to Belmar about learning, and everyone kind of mentions learning and knowledge and stuff. It's a common theme, right? Along with all the other common themes that we have, interestingly enough. But to me, all of the knowledge and all of the iteration simply comes from trying to solve problems.
Yeah.
And you just get smarter by trying to solve problems, because as you solve them, you iterate, and then you have to go find things and figure things out. Like, I look at us. We experts at content. Like, I'm doing like Photoshop, whatever, all that stuff. But then we add like the direct response piece, and then it's like, well, we have to go and build the sales team and things like this, and then they start to compound, and then you start to connect that to the different industries, and I can see how expansions happen now. Mm-hmm. And I felt like when I moved to Miami, and then I was with my former business partner, that I actually stopped iterating and stopped solving problems for a period of time, just because of the relationship I had with that business and whatnot. And that stagnant, like almost, not that I lost a year, but I slowed down like a lot because I stopped solving problems. If I just kept solving problems, it would have kept snowballing, right, at a high level like we are doing now. Yeah. And you can see in the past 4 months, the work we've done and what we've improved on is just, it's incredible. Yeah. Like, overhauled the entire product, and what we've iterated on while doing that is building a crazy team. Building our sales team, our editing team, our fulfillment team, all these different things and all these new skills that we've had to learn like that overnight, 4 months, simply because we had to. Simply because there's a problem we had to solve. And like you, right? You couldn't find the clothes you want or the supplements. You solved the problem, then you iterated, and it kept getting better. It's just super interesting to me. It's like, that's the root of knowledge.
Yeah, doing. And I wrote a piece about this a few days ago. Problems are just opportunities. And like, there literally are no problems. Mm-hmm. There's a situation waiting to be solved, a puzzle for you to crack. And if you see everything in your life as a puzzle or an opportunity to get better, an opportunity to learn, then you kind of like stop resisting as much. Like, oh, I've got all these fucking problems to solve. It's like, the situation is going to be there, and you can fix it, improve, and learn. or get upset, but then also do the thing. So like, what is the resistance to the present moment or the opportunity ahead of you, instead of just like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. I don't know how people, I couldn't do it. Like I have, I don't want to say that actually. That's a bad affirmation.
Yeah.
Like a mental, like not a, like a mental hyperactivity related to not stagnating. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be bored, you know, like kind of the stagnating.
I don't know how people
like
are bored.
Yeah, like the stagnating mindset, like it would just bore the living shit out of me, I think. It really would. Just have to, I don't know how you do it. And you also, yeah, like you're never just kind of like coasting or idling, you know, you're either like really getting better, you're probably getting a lot worse, I think.
Yeah. If you're not directing energy to something, nothing is standard. Like if you're not directing energy to something each day, just like, all right, up a little bit, whether that's your business, whatever it is you're working on. Each time that you don't put energy towards it, it goes down a little bit. The momentum fades a little bit more. And that's all it is each day. Like if you can imagine the various projects as spinning plates, you got to spin that one a little bit. Oh shit. Boom, boom. Fix this problem. And then they all kind of level out and get taller and taller and stronger and stronger.
I love it. You look like you had something to say.
No, go for it.
What else is new? In the SolBrah
Yeah, what's
world?
changed since we last saw you?
A lot of spiritual development, I
Yeah.
feel, which is great, because spiritual development will change your business output as well, and just your health as well. I'm finding, and I haven't cracked the code yet, but some like that inflexibility in my hip at the moment. Don't want to affirm anything, but that I think has been linked to, you know, some other spiritual opportunities to improve that I've had personally. So working on that stuff, and yeah, just expanding everything out and really understanding, like I've really changed the mindset because I'm here to exact some sort of destiny, and everything that I'm doing is facilitating that progress and that kind of destiny. So I kind of really have taken myself out of it, my egoic self, and are just doing the things that are presented to me each day by God and surrendering to whatever this path is. And as soon as I started doing that recently, over the last few months, it's like hyper accelerated. I read a book, The Surrender Experiment. You should check it out. But the principle being that if you just stop all like the worrying, the hyper analyzing, the logical analysis of everything, take yourself out of it and kind of solve the synchronistic opportunities that come your way, then like that is so much more powerful than you trying to control every outcome, and it's a lot more enjoyable as well.
Yeah, just flowing. Yeah, that feeling of like presence and just awareness and being really in a good place with that, I think is one of the more impactful, just like it just changes everything about your life completely. If you are waking up excited about what you're doing, you're like just taking everything all in, just kind of in a flow. It's like a drug. I love that. I love that. Like
I feel that right now.
it's a kind of high that I kind of chase, you know?
We just can't wait to get back to Miami and work.
Yeah. Like just the feeling of everything's like I'm doing everything I need to do. Each day is cool. Check the box. Yeah. I love it.
I think that's why people can't sleep. And it was definitely one of the reasons why I had the periods of mental thoughts which were less enjoyable, is because I knew I wasn't fulfilling what I was capable of.
Really?
Like if you actually do the things that you say you need to do, or you just know that you need to do each day, you work out, you eat well, you helped a friend, you put in the hours on studying your language, whatever it is your focus at the time. When you've done that, you don't have anxiety going to bed. Like even if, you know, your diet's off point, whatever, it's like, you know, you did your best today, you improved, and that's, what's the quote? It's like, the man with the empty conscience sleeps the best at night, something like that, or a man with a, you know, fulfilled conscience, because he knows, yeah, I didn't screw anyone over, I did my best, I improved, he's going to sleep well.
I sometimes get too excited and then don't sleep.
Yes, that's a positive not sleeping.
Yeah, that tends to happen. If I get excited about a big idea past 8 or 9. Like I'm staying up all night working.
I tend to find when, like,
It's
in
just I can't help
general, I'm really enjoying what I'm working on. I sleep less, but I'm just as rested.
I just need less
So
sleep.
just as
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's the reason why guys like Tony Robbins or Joe Dispenza, I've had people work with them, friends that have mentioned things where Tony Robbins is sleeping like 3 hours a night. During his conferences, he's doing events, but then he's up, 4 a.m. after going to bed at midnight. Like he's so tapped into the purpose energy, the spiritual energy, the endless energy of God that he's just on. And like, who knows the health benefits of like not sleeping. Sometimes, of course, over years, I think that can make an effect. But same thing, when I'm actually excited to work on something, then it's like, oh, sleep's kind of boring. Yeah. And I love sleep, and I say everyone, fix your sleep. But like sometimes it is, you don't want to sleep because you have so much better things it's again a mental distinction, but the spiritual energy of you tapping into actually what you're meant to do kind of overrides a lot of your biological things that you think are necessary or not necessary.
100%. Yeah, I should probably tone it down a little. Get a little less excited.
How much do you sleep on average?
I mean, it's just like what's average? Because I feel like I haven't had an average week in like, I don't know. We've been all over the place.
So you're sleeping like 4 hours most nights, 5 hours?
No, like probably, I don't know, maybe like 8 hours, 3 nights.
Yeah,
like between 4 and 6. A couple other nights, maybe like one
Interesting.
banger, and then like one night of like a lot of sleep, like 11 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like pretty consistent, like 7 to 8 every night.
Yeah. I think that's more Logan's autism kind of shining through.
For sure. No, dude, it's not even like, it's a super positive. It really is. Would you say it is? I think it is.
Yours what?
Every night I don't sleep, I cook up something crazy.
Yeah, but
That's super true.
It is, but I haven't really ever seen you on consistent good sleep. We got to ask the question, what if you were getting consistent good sleep every night? Would you tap into a different level every single day?
That's a good question. There's always another level to tap into. That's so true.
To your point.
Because you have some moments where you're not your happiest.
You're probably just doing something annoying.
Know when I say when you get your full night of sleep every week, you are the happiest person the next day, the nicest person. It's actually super funny, but I think we just need a good night of sleep from you every night, and you're gonna just tap in every day. Be a good fulfillment dog.
And that means I need a lot more time to work out. Because if I work. True. That's really the only way to tame the beast is if I completely physically exhaust myself.
Gotta make the time.
And
it's tough right now. Hey.
Yeah, it's tough. And I've been working out, but it's just
I've been working out too.
Dude, there's a lot of a difference in my sleep when I'm like out walking.
Especially when I go
every day.
Especially when it's a very hard workout.
Yeah,
and very lift, like hard cardio.
I'm not rushing
like a nice
through
sauna.
my lift.
Yeah.
Training MMA. Playing sports I mean, like a baby then.
Been riding the bike a lot, right?
That's not a workout, bro.
But it's not. I was about to say it's not the same.
Like, dude, we biked
you don't
from
get tired.
South Beach to Brickell like pretty frequently, and it's just like not hard enough.
Were you pumping on max gear though?
Yeah.
We're pushing.
I mean, granted, I have like a beach cruiser.
Yeah.
But
I can feel my legs after, but they're never sore the next day.
Nice pump.
You feel it, but
they're never sore the next
it's
day.
not a hard enough workout though.
We're not breaking down muscle tissue, bro.
There's also no elevation in Florida, so that's maybe a piece of it.
We got the bridges.
Oh, we gotta go over this bridge for 30 seconds. Oh no.
I've had friends who do triathlete training and they rip some fucking workouts, but they're going like 40 miles.
Yeah.
Cycling for 3 hours.
Yeah. If you do that, it's a good workout, but I don't have fucking time.
You know those 100-mile races?
3 hours.
You know those are crazy.
Would you ever do a marathon?
Yeah, I would do a marathon.
I think marathons.
Maybe.
It's you know why it's called marathon, right?
Yeah, like the Greek. They ran. I don't know.
The Greece one of.
There was a Greek like messenger, right, who ran the distance to send a message to a general or some shit.
Yeah, that they won the war.
Yeah.
So it's pretty Lindy. So I feel like
Pretty Lindy.
as a
I
human
haven't heard that in a minute.
exercise, I think I haven't done one. I haven't done a marathon. I used to do cross country at school.
Would you?
But yes, for sure. It's what I'm kind of getting to is like at least once.
Yeah, maybe when I'm like 40 or something. I don't really have any interest right now.
Yeah.
Be good content.
I'm trying to do a NASCAR race.
That would be fire.
Yeah.
You would crush a NASCAR race.
Would I?
Oh yeah, I could totally see you.
Why do you
driving
see that?
race cars? Because you're just
Right build.
That's where Nick's autism shines. Have you ever driven with Nick?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
He's a fast driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. He likes to go
He's
fast.
got places
I
to
like
be.
to see the number go up on the speedometer.
We got to make a Lightning McQueen edit now that we have Matt. Can you imagine? That would go
I need
crazy.
to get my car fixed.
Matt's like, yeah, that's a banger. Tell me
Let's
it's
do it.
not.
Weren't you driving a little hatchback?
No, it's a RS5.
What does that mean?
It's an Audi V6 twin turbo sports car.
Oh, so it's a fast hatchback.
It's not a hatchback. It's a coupe. Yeah. But
The thing does rip.
the coolant keeps leaking.
How many
that's
times
good.
have you taken it to the shop?
So
in the past
first time
month?
was for a turbo, and then it was coolant, and then I got it back, and then the coolant isn't working again. It's leaking again, so we're
Not
gonna take
cooling.
it back when I get back.
Nick's got a weekly Monday meeting at Audi these days.
I should just buy a new car, faster one.
We should have bought that truck on the street the other day.
Logan, where's your car, man?
I don't need one.
Yeah, I don't use one either.
That's fair enough.
I ride
my
Yeah, but
bike.
you're traveling around a lot.
Yeah. So is Logan.
Are you gonna get one when we move to an unsaid location on the podcast?
Yeah. if I didn't live in South Beach, I would get a car, 100%. But I just didn't. When I moved back from being in Brazil, moved to Miami, and if you live in Brickell or South Beach, you don't really need a car.
That's true. I wanna turn our attention back to Mr. SolBrah for a second.
Let's
When's
do
the
it.
manifesto dropping?
This has been in the works. I feel like it hasn't been on top of my priorities because it's not yet the time. I would ideally like to write a book. Well, the book's written, right? It's written. I've done so much writing pretty much every day for the last 3 years that it's all about collating it and selecting the specific pieces of information and pieces of writing that I think are going to have the most impact on people. 'Cause I've set it up that my book, I want to be able to give to someone and say, hey, here's a summary of what I believe the most important things to know in order to be the healthiest version of yourself, the most successful, and enjoy life the most. It kind of split into mental, physical, and then spiritual, or whatever you want to call that. I haven't decided. I'm not sure what it's going to be called yet. Probably not Manifesto. I think it's best to to avoid that word, but
I don't know. I like that word.
it's a great word.
Our deep state handlers told us get everybody to use Manifesto. So we're working on it.
But this year, ideally, I have an artist working on the cover, which is going to be really cool. And yeah, I guess we'll see whenever I'm called to do it. I feel like it's one of those things that I need to lock myself in a forest cabin for a week and just go crazy and in the creative process of that in order to be able to come out.
What's going to be the pitch? Like, what's going to be the reason somebody should buy the book?
Well, like I said before, it's, everything that I've discovered motivationally, philosophically, health-wise.
Got it.
To be able to pick up the book, like if I could have given this to my 14-year-old self as a young kid and be like, hey, dude, you have this, then, you figured out a lot and you're going to be coasting compared to all the mental traps and things that I have just had to go through in order to learn a summary of that. And to be able to actually have a physical book that I can give people I had the cookbook, but that was an ebook, not the same. And this will be in print only because I think that's something as well. Side note is like having a physical reality book that's printed and having a bunch of them. It's like they can't ever censor that. They can censor your ability to put out an ebook. We're seeing even old books now that are being retroactively edited in order to get rid of content, which I think is the most egregious thing in terms of the sanctity of a writer. It's like the writer wrote it at that point in time for their own reasons, and editing that, especially if the author is dead, is just such a sacrilegious kind of act. But with ebooks, with even everything on the cloud now, what is the cloud? That's someone else's server.
Amazon Web Hosting.
Yeah, God bless them. But if they can just beep,
Sorry.
oh, but it was my stuff saved in the cloud. No, it wasn't. But if you've got it, it's the same reason you have crypto. Have it on a personal wallet, on a, what are they called? Cold wallets?
Ledger,
unplugged
cool
from the computer. And then you actually have it. It's like if your coins are on an exchange, we saw, exchange went broke. Actually, in the terms and conditions, we can use that to cover insolvency. Sorry, dude. There's your life savings. Like, it's pretty fucked up. But there are things that you can just do to avoid having that thing kind of happen to you. But yeah, in-print books is the way.
That's awesome. I can't wait to read it.
You don't read, dude.
I do.
Joking.
I do read. You mentioned going to the forest and just going crazy for a week. That sounds interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do, like, if you have a big creative project, do you do that? I do. I definitely do.
I think it just, whenever you have other people's inputs, as good as they are, they're not the same as being able to focus. Like when I'm really deep into productive work, I'll have an Airbnb or I'm just at my place alone, and like I'll get my espresso, but then I'll come back to the house. I'll cook all my meals at home. I'll do my exercise not quickly, but not wasting time. And then the rest of it is just kind of tapping away, working on things, filming things that I'm not talking to anyone else really, other than texting them occasionally. But for something like that's so creatively involved and you want to encode so much of your spirit into the book like I want to, I think that just necessitates being by yourself, especially somewhere that's not built up, nature. Even at my place, it's like, yeah, I'm working and then there's a guy leaf blowing next door.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, thanks, dude. But
ban the leaf blowers.
Ban the leaf blowers. But I think that's necessary. The authors of old would chain smoke cigarettes and get wasted just locked in a hotel room. And I don't recommend that, obviously. But I think the same principle
help a little bit occasionally.
For sure, as a treat.
As a treat.
But,
there's a lot of these really successful people that they call it like a think week. They go take a think week alone, in like a cabin in the woods, and just maybe with some books, a journal, etc. It's interesting.
One thing that was really interesting to me about everything you just talked about is like you mentioned this idea that you can kind of you said throw your spirit into it, and it's really crazy to see how much you can really encode your energy into like these mediums, these physical mediums or digital mediums. Like it's insane to see
every bit of content you put out.
Yeah, I mean, well, or you see stuff that's not so much like that and it doesn't do as well because it's not encoded with as much energy. And like the more, like if you put out something that you've been like mulling on and like I'm going to super edit this and it kind of loses that. But then the things that are just incredibly raw get encoded with that energy. I feel like other people can feel it and
100%.
relate to it just much more. It's so intangible, but it's really, really true.
Yeah, it's the same even with, I don't use any tweet schedulers because some tweets, like, the informational ones, you're just doing the process, you're growing your account, you want to list these gym tips, doesn't really matter, schedule those, whatever. But for the ones that are just your raw thoughts, if you do something like, I'm going to wait until it's the morning Eastern time in order to cultivate the most likes tomorrow. It's literally just not going to do as well.
Yeah.
And it loses the resonance behind it. But if you just like, I just need to get this thing out, send it, rip it, whatever you're doing. I've had to step away from dinner sometimes, just like, I got this thing that I need to do, and send that out. Even if it is the middle of the night, it's going to pop off.
Sorry, guys. No dessert for SolBrah. I've got a tweet to send.
I come back for dessert.
Perfect.
Always got to have dessert.
That's a good playbook. Yeah, you do. Ice cream nationalism.
Oh yeah.
Gone through that Van Leeuwen yet? I don't know.
Oh, we're almost done.
Yeah. I finished my honeycomb yesterday. Last night. About 12:30. After I was playing with the AI. That's literally what we did last night from, I don't know what, 8:30 to about midnight. Well, I was down here with Matt until like 12:30.
Yeah, around that.
Super fun. I think people need to have more fun. What do you think about that?
100%. People go through their whole lives being upset and judging and like, oh, this is so bad. It's so serious. I can take myself seriously. And if this doesn't happen, then, oh, man, I'm not serious. I'm not successful. Like, I used to do the same thing. And it's literally not real. So there's some perspectives of the Matrix being the dualistic world. And duality meaning, oh, this is me, SolBrah, the person, and I have my likes, dislikes, experiences, memories, trials, tribulations, emotions. And then there's the external world. That's the view of dualism. But when you understand that we're all one thing, there's a unity between everything, and there is no distinction between, oh, this is me in this body and the rest of the world, you realize that, yeah, it's one and the same. You don't have to fight it. You're not having to like really make your way through this world that's out to get you, that's like throwing all these problems your way. It's like, oh no, this is all just a reflection of what I choose to internally focus on and my mental thought patterns and my perspectives and my beliefs. And if you understand that, then you can really manipulate the world around you. Again, the world is energy. That's kind of accepted by now. But you can change the energy that you're putting out. That's going to put you in different situations where if you're really upset and serious and not having fun about life and enjoying the journey, life is to be enjoyed. Life is to be lived, not controlled. And if you try to control every little thing, every little outcome, again, like if you're going off the path that God has for you, like your real true destiny and purpose, where you get that purposeful energy flowing through you, everything is going to suck. And it's like, because you're fighting with resistance, you're trying to control. Is this little one person, you think you're controlling, millions of other people in the world? No, it's not going to happen. But you can step into your role and not be serious and just enjoy it. And that's how I try to live, at least.
Yeah, I love that. I think that it's just a much better way to, I mean, even if, I don't know what the alternative outcome would even be, like, I just can't imagine looking back like, oh, I didn't go try this thing before I couldn't, or before things changed or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's just that's like, time is your most precious resource, and really not even time, like your attention. Just, I don't know.
Whatever you spend your time giving attention to is ultimately what prospers in your life.
You just become what you are. What's up over there? You look quiet.
I was thinking about our video team. I was listening but thinking about our video team right now and how we're going to blow up all these clips. Dude, fucking crazy.
Never not working. Would you say that's a blessing or a curse?
I wouldn't say never not working. But
when are you not working?
I wouldn't call it a blessing or a curse. I would just say it just is.
Smart.
And I enjoy it. Right? I'm only thinking about it if I actually enjoy it, or it's a problem that I want to solve. So if I'm not excited about it, then I'm probably not thinking about it. I'm just probably
excited about this podcast.
Oh, I'm excited about this podcast.
When you think too much, that's when the problems happen. I learned that from you a bit, Logan, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
Just
like overthinking?
Me overthinking compared to Logan's kind of dynamic, action-oriented, doesn't matter what happens mentality and mode, which has been, it's been a good influence on me.
I appreciate that.
It's interesting because we'll solve problems in the business. And one example was we were working on taking ourselves out of fulfillment as much as possible. And I'm like, well, we should put together a plan. We should.
First off, I wouldn't say we're out of fulfillment, but
okay, but you know what I mean.
Decision to get help.
Yeah, but
get help.
It's a process of moving ourselves out of fulfillment, and to take that one of those initial steps. I was like, we should plan this certain thing, etc. We should do this, and this. We should have these SOPs and resources lined up. He's like, no, let's just do it right now. And
Yes.
I was like, I look at it. I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're completely right. Let's just do it right now. Right.
Yep.
And I'm often like that on many things. But additionally, sometimes I'll overanalyze things. You say overthinking. Super overanalyze. Like, what if the numbers don't line up or whatever? It's just like, if you just do it, you can just kind of clean the other things up and make it
sweep
look
it up.
pretty, and
Sweep
it's
up
good.
the mess.
Yeah.
One thing that I've really, I think, kind of realized about life, and probably learned it from growing our company, other stuff, other projects I've worked on, is you really get rewarded for just max conviction. You
Super
really
true.
do. Like,
You just do it.
yeah.
You just, I don't know if I want to hire the person, and
Because
it
I
might
think,
cost
like,
a little bit extra. Dude, just,
I think
you
in
have the
times
money,
like-
yes or no, hire them.
I think in times like that, the problem isn't necessarily like the fork in the road or the dilemma. I think it's just
the lack of experience.
the lack of conviction that
But that stems from the lack of experience for most people.
Mhm.
Like you haven't seen it before, so you're asking people's opinions for it, and you're doing the research and da da da.
Yeah.
But really, you just hear, and then what is right to me? What actually gets me further to my goals? And you always know the answer.
Yeah.
And then you should act with conviction on that goal rather than overanalyze and overthinking, getting too analytical, da da da.
Well, like I often think too with like, because I kind of fully understood that from building our company and like building bigger teams. Like in that scenario, you're like weighing like the expense of paying a bunch of people versus like the inflow, and you're kind of like you always have to make the decision before it like makes sense on paper, I think, to some extent. Like
Depends on how fast you're trying to grow. Depends on how fast you're
Can't
trying
go
to grow.
too fast. I have seen that happen.
you can't grow too fast. Absolutely.
We're growing fast right now, like super fast. And I feel like in our situation, making that decision right before it makes sense on paper makes sense. But if someone is like, you know what, I'd rather just, go slower, it's nice and steady, keep really, really big margins. That's what they want to do. But
that's true.
and they'll come
I
to
shouldn't
that.
say every situation, but I don't know. That's how I like to play.
The thing about
game.
framing,
And I
decisions-
balance that really.
chips in
And then I balance it. I'm like, all right, half the chips. And then it works out good.
Yeah. Well, framing decisions in general, it's if you take how you're going to develop over 10 years, loosely what you want, you're putting in the effort to get there, is one decision of whether or not you chose to hire a video editor at this point in time that we're at now, is that meaningfully going to change the fact that you guys are going to have a multi-billion-dollar media empire?
I would say
10 years? No. But what will fuck you over is if you wait 2 months to actually make a decision to see what happens.
Yes.
Just make the decision. If it's wrong, it's not wrong. You now know something that doesn't work, so you can avoid that.
I was going to piggyback on that originally, and it's the time thing. If we can hire them 2 months ahead of time,
Yeah.
we can either know if it's the right decision or the wrong decision pretty much immediately within a week. You figure it out from there. And additionally, if it is the right decision, now you have the extra 2 months of compounding.
Yeah.
And if you continue to make the decisions fast, and you continue to add, continue to grow, it compounds, and it snowballs.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting dynamic between how you and I are, and I think how Sol is we, I think, are hyper, and I don't know if it's not good or bad, right? Like it's just an interesting dichotomy. I think that you and I are super focused on right now, but like, it's not like we're thinking short term. We're just like, we're trying to get things done, like grab it and choke it. And he's like much more patient.
You know what it is? I also think I go back to like the old Gary Vee clips when I was, first starting, whatever. I think everyone checked out Gary Vee's stuff.
Yeah.
And something that has
Shout out
always stuck with me, one of his things that always stuck with me, and it's super true to me, is macro patience. Like if you look at the big picture, the 20-year picture, you're very patient. You just domino after domino is going to fall. You just do your work. You're patient. But day by day, you do your work. In the micro, right? In the hours, you're go, 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 go. Decision. Accomplish this. Check this box. Go, 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 go. But long term, you're just, okay, yep, I got it. Because today I won. Today I made progress. That, to me, is how I think.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think he would tell you the same thing, but is like, I don't know, we have a much more like chaotic rendition of it.
Yeah.
Like our version
Different business.
I know, but I also think that our version of like do it now today is like, how can I fucking max out 20 things on a to-do list? And he's like,
I mean, dude,
I'm gonna accomplish one lever today.
No, I
that
agree.
moves
I agree.
stones.
But like, we just tripled revenue in a month.
Which is great. It's two different approaches.
Right? Like, we just tripled revenue in a month. Like, there's gonna be a lot of boxes for us to check.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Just, you know.
Subtle flex there, pal.
Not subtle, but respect anyway.
I would say it off camera, so I'm comfortable saying it on camera. You know.
Authenticity, rather.
Facts.
Yeah, we the shit and it don't stink, boy.
Let's talk about being authentic for a second. What just happened with our client? And well, we're gonna be authentic about it.
What?
Our client, someone's trying to expose them.
Oh.
We're caught up in it, whatever. No one's really getting exposed. Thank you for just spreading our message even further.
That was
pretty much.
hilarious. Dude, I'm so stoked about that.
So, for anyone watching,
this is the best
and
angle we could have.
SolBrah sent it to Logan this morning, right? And you had found it.
Yeah, someone sent it to me.
So, one of our clients, Nick Verch, we just had on the podcast last episode. Right. Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're going to drop that right after this. Some account or whatever. It's like, I'm exposing Mr. Nicholas Verge and Launch Socials. And SolBrah was mentioned too for being deep state propagandists and controlled opposition.
Yep.
Excuse me, it's the best controlled opposition. Look, like, like, I don't know. People are crazy. That's actually someone that might be schizophrenic. No.
People are too online, man.
I'm
That's all it
super
is.
thankful for it. Motherfucker just airdropped me the best angle of all time. Thank you. These copywriting firms have been sponsored by Hillary Clinton as they are so effective at warping your perception. Yeah, fucking link in the description. Book a call. We'll get you right, boy. It's hilarious. I love it. I think it's great branding.
Yeah.
I don't think Soul's as keen
No,
to
it's
run with
it's
it.
whatever. I just you know, people will say whatever, and people have said lots of stuff over the years,
Yeah.
even the short time that I've been online. It's just like,
Wait till they find out we are controlled opposition.
come on, man.
Rockefeller
My
bags
Soros
going
box
crazy.
coming in the mail.
Oh, man. Yeah. We're getting to the danger zone a little bit. Or should we push a little harder?
Was it
Right.
about authenticity?
Hmm?
It was about authenticity.
Yeah.
You want to talk about authenticity?
Well, we're being authentic. We're owning that message.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm that good at motherfucking propaganda.
What did they say? The right wing,
CNN's next.
Right
boy. I'm
wing-
taking that shit over.
right wing 2024 MAGA
Communism.
communism.
The 2024 MAGA communist insurrection.
Yeah, I think it. You know, take us out of it. It's good to understand that there's stuff online that people are trying to pay others to get you. If you only see a certain perspective in the media that you consume, then your mind is just going to inevitably be skewed that way.
Yeah.
You just only consume one source of information. So I think it is important to, you know, maybe not just be in the insular world of how we are on Twitter. I mean, I would recommend that, but you know, taking us out of it, you just got to, you know, take lots of information from lots of different sources. What makes sense? What links up? What helps me? What is going to make me stronger, better?
Yeah.
Which is pretty much nothing of the mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
So
Nothing.
it's going to make you weaker. And I think that's kind of indicative of...
Elmo pancakes at Sprouts the other day. No good?
No?
No good?
I don't think so. Anything that has Elmo on it as a food, then you can pretty much avoid, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I can't relate at all. Like, I just don't know how people have any trust in the mainstream establishment
Who
of
watches
information.
CNN?
Like, it's just such
No one.
blatant garbage that I don't know how you could even. I don't know how these people.
I truly think that the numbers are so skewed in our favor in actuality. In reality, the numbers are so skewed in our favor.
Yeah.
And they stole the election. They you know? like I'm not.
Is this still a Trump impersonation? Or
No. Excuse me.
Okay.
We could do that, but they stole the election. It was the
No,
biggest.
I want to hear your take.
But so like the numbers, they're around 60 million each or whatever, if I remember correctly. And I don't really follow politics like I used to. Like back then, during 16 and all that. But I think it was around 60 million. And there's zero way that Joe Biden got more votes than Donald Trump. There's 0% chance. Like I just don't believe it. You can't convince me that he got more votes. It was completely. He probably got like 30 or 40 million.
I just don't care.
I know I don't care either. But what I'm saying is I'm using that as a metric to say that our side, the side that would have supported Trump at that point in time, when things have changed in the last 4 years a lot.
Yeah.
In the last 3-4 years, things have changed. Like I don't know if I really trust Trump anymore or whatever. Like I'm not interested in getting into that discussion, but what I am saying is the people that would have voted for him and the people that still exist now are so skewed in our favor. Like
Well,
whatever.
that's what they have to censor.
But this is the thing.
Whatever
It's not-
right-wing
they're not
agenda
Trump
or-
supporters. They're just
You know
normal
what I mean?
people.
He was
who
the
think
option.
That, like,
He was the option at that time for normal people that
Yes,
was the
that's true.
best. Right? So I'm
100%.
using that as an example. But right now, those same people that would have voted for him, they don't want any of this stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
They don't want.
Yeah, it's normal, well-adjusted people who are against the liberal woke agenda. It's a bit of a catchphrase now, but like, okay, I want to be able to be safe, crime-free.
Yeah.
My kids actually just learn educational stuff and not this, ideology business.
Yeah.
And that's a normal human perspective to have. But the reason, especially in America, people get their perspectives from the media they consume, and this is why they control the media.
Yeah.
Is to like, you can tell people, you can literally affect people's the way that they build families, what they think is cool. You push drugs, you push sex, all of that stuff, and then people like, if they're in their house and their view of the world is the TV, then that is what they think is reality, and then what we believe becomes our reality, and that is how they control people. And that's why they have to censor, because most people are good at a base level. They just want to chill with their family and like live a good life and not do any damage to people. But then there are others who are few, like way, and this is, where people should take, I think, some sort of good energy from, is like, most people agree with you, but they're just like scared to say anything. Or the people that are in power are of those few that are just fucked in the head.
I hate that whole silent majority thing. Why do we have to be silent?
You don't have to be, but that's what the majority becomes.
Sure.
Because they're scared. So we got to be loud.
Brainwashed by the news
And
media.
we've been sent here to inspire them with courage.
Awaken.
Resist.
Activate. I don't mind that. Get inside destiny, right?
Yeah, you can't. It's super funny. I was telling Nick this story, and I was just like, it was a super like cyclical moment. I was filming some sort of video or ad, or I don't know what I was doing, but it was some sort of like marketing thing. And I remembered when I was a junior in EP Gov, we had like mock elections, and me and one of my good friends growing up were in charge of making the videos for the ads. And these ads were like ridiculous. Like, we got the camera out and we did like a ridiculous voiceover with like Lego planes that the Chinese were bombing us, and then we showed what like a weak leader would do, which is nothing, get bombed, what a strong leader would do, which is like fucking zap them out of the sky. And we voiced over it. It was ridiculous. Like, these were but they crushed. Like, people loved it.
Yeah.
And I realized then I was built to market things. But it was super cyclical, because I was marketing things like present day, and this was like 2015. I was like, holy shit, that was like 8 years ago. Now this is what I do. Super.
Yeah, you're
crazy
still young,
moment.
man. Both of you guys. I mean, we're all young, but it's I just think back to, I was kind of just chilling in university at your age,
24?
Really?
Well, yeah, I did my masters as well, so
Oh, you did?
I was kind of, even doing your masters is not that much work, really.
Mm-hmm.
At least the way I was doing it. So I definitely wasn't, again, fulfilling my potential as much. I was still working hard, like learning, educating, whatever, but definitely not to the level that you guys were. So
I also think like we have a little bit of an advantage
Why?
because when he was
The internet.
yeah,
The
like,
internet
when
is
you
just
think about what was
it hits at different
like,
points. Yeah.
yeah, there was like it wasn't as easy to grasp the potential when you were 18, you know what I mean? Or 19. That's when we kind of both found it.
I mean, I knew, but was just, again, it wasn't to the level that it is today.
Yeah.
And I just, out of fear, was not posting content. But I knew what it could do, you know?
Yeah. It's really interesting.
We learn.
There's so many people that could be so amazing and do like
Yeah.
incredible things that just like, man, they're afraid to put it out there.
people have discussions like this all the time, and they don't film it.
Mhm.
They don't leverage it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super, we matched up the discussion with the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's leveraged. And the content is just leverage at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's having conversation with as many people as see it rather than just one person.
Yeah.
It's changed everything in all of our lives completely.
Yeah.
Just stuff like this, sitting here.
Shooting the shit.
For free. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for your billboards. You don't have to pay for your radio ads. We're on there for free.
I think, Joe Rogan, the father of all this stuff, really, in a lot of ways, watching that and him just like the fight companions, just smoking a J, talking with his friends, it's like, man, he's making money off this. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever in high school. And then kind of watching that, I was like, okay, like there's a way to do this. Like there's a way to shoot the shit with your buddies and get wasted and nothing will come out of it. And it's a complete waste of time. Not that hanging out with your buddies is a waste of time, but if you're doing that consistently and it's not expanding and you're also not capturing it in some way, then okay, it's not like going to be contributing to exponential growth in that way. But he did it in a way, and we are now doing it in a way that this is quote unquote productive. Not that your whole life needs to be productive or content, but it's just interesting that if you're going to do something consistently, why not make the enjoyable productive as well?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I feel like productive is the wrong word. I feel like it's leveraged.
Yeah.
We're just leveraging this discussion to have more benefit to ourselves.
Yeah.
So sure, I mean, I feel like we'd be productive without it, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. To me, I think of it more as leverage.
Yeah.
You're allowed to
Better
have that
framework.
opinion. We'll allow it. Yeah, it's like, and I don't think everybody has to do content. I really like, I don't think you have to. I think in most cases, probably makes a lot of sense. Like, and if you're not,
probably
if
makes
you're
a
not
ton
gonna
of
leverage
sense.
content, dude, it's so crazy. Like,
Every business that
You know
doesn't leverage content would be better off leveraging content.
pretty much, and they're probably already doing some form of content. They just don't equate it the same way.
Yeah.
It's what I really think it leads back to is like equity. Like people just aren't taking. Well, most people don't value equity in business enough at all, in my opinion, and just of their lives. Like not thinking about.
Why do you say that though?
What do you mean?
Not valuing equity a lot in business. What makes you what have you
If
seen
work,
that
I
makes
think
you say
what
that?
he's saying is when you work for a salary, you don't really understand it on the same level as like.
Well,
actually
you said
owning
in business, so did you mean like other people
Yeah,
that are?
like no, like exactly what he's saying.
Okay.
Like most people don't think about their vocation
In regards to ownership.
in regards to equity and ownership. They just don't, and that's really how you should look at your career. Like you should look to
You will own nothing and be happy.
become valuable and own a piece of that value you can create, because that's how you make money. Yeah, and I think that just the and I don't think it was ever supposed to really be like this either. Like it never has been in history, and then now we have this.
Everyone was an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
At
dude,
one point.
even if you look at like, it's actually really, really inspiring if you read like the trailblazing Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Like those people they could do everything well, everything because they had to. Like
Yeah.
they owned probably multiple businesses, or right, their skill set was a business, and then they like knew all of these individualized things. They had total sovereignty over their life.
They had to farm,
and
hunt.
equity of it.
Because they had to, like you said.
And then you just develop. Like, you develop so much more.
Our shit is easy, really.
Yeah.
That's what sometimes people ask me, how do you stay motivated to do all this stuff? It's like, man, I could be working in a coal mine.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff's hard. You think I'm like, oh, I'm talking in front of a camera. Like,
And I think you
ride every day.
or like I try to, like, people also overvalue their time in regards to the vocation, you know what I mean? Or like what you're going to do for your career. Your goal shouldn't be like, I feel like a lot of people's goal in life is to work, right? Which I don't think is quite it. I'm not saying you shouldn't work hard. You should absolutely work hard, but your goal should be like creating value and not, you know what I mean? You shouldn't overvalue your own labor, right? Because it's not an accomplishment. Like people,
they identify with that.
They
I'm a
identify
hard worker, and that
you
makes
should-
me a good
you
person.
shouldn't be seeking that out. You should be seeking to holistically master life and just become as effective as you can in every area. And like, I think it's just gets lost in the wayside. And so even if you're not going to do content, like you should be approaching, this is just a really convenient way that we happen to be blessed with to exert ourselves and our will and our thoughts into the world.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're not going to fully leverage something in your vocation and your career, you probably should.
Like if you're so smart, why are you still working 12-hour days?
Yeah.
Really?
Because there's so much life to be lived.
Yeah.
I'll make an important distinction. Why are you still working still working so hard, working 12-hour days on the same thing? Because I feel like 12-hour days, but you're expanding. Now you went from setter to closer to sales manager. You're still working 12-hour days, but it's in a way higher leverage opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? You built your way there.
You're constantly leapfrogging.
Exactly. You're growing, you're progressing, you're iterating.
And even outside of that, like, there's just so many things to get better at in life. Like, I can't imagine, like, dude,
just working.
What if you had a kid? You know, like, dude, that's like pretty important. You got to get good at it. Like now.
Most people are horrible parents.
Yeah, that's true.
Most people are horrible parents.
That's super true. Not an intention, like.
Elmo waffles.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one that shits me is I just feel bad for the kid when they're obese. It's like your parent is feeding you gummy gumdrops and fucking
Obese
sody
people
pop.
shouldn't be allowed to have kids.
Some would argue that they're giving them a horrendous disease for life, but it's like they also just don't know any better.
Yeah.
I would hope most of them, they just like if you gave them the information, hey, this is what you look like if you ate properly or whatever, then you would hope that they would change.
Yeah.
But if you're like you want to stuff up your own life, all right. But you have a kid who's dependent on you, and you don't just like at least have the wherewithal to cook them good food, then that is really, I think, not a good.
Extremely sad.
Yeah.
When you see it's like a really bad case of it, you feel really bad for the kid.
But it's also a function environment. Like if you have people that don't have that second order logical thinking to examine things, then you have to just make the environment so that the default is that they're going to be healthy. If they went to the store and they weren't the Krispy Kremes and the horrific corn syrup products that are in there, I have to buy some oranges. Like that's just, they don't have, like they're working really hard. They're in a specific family situation. They don't have the time to research about diet and things like we may do. But I think as a responsibility to society, everyone should contribute to an environment that which the default is just a healthy lifestyle as it used to be, walking around. Blue light isn't everywhere. EMF, food sources are great. Most of it is organic, that kind of thing. The tap water, it doesn't have fluoride in it, that kind of stuff. Then your society is just going to be
it's so
healthier.
Crazy that someone will say like the propaganda stuff for, it's a psyop to convince you to take care of your kids and drink healthy water. Like, oh fuck, man, that's really a bad thing.
With the amount of psyops that are out there, I think we have a responsibility to create positive psyops. So
100%.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, and it's because it's not even like these people don't have awareness of like what's good and what's bad. You know what I mean? Like let's say a parent who might not have the information to know.
I feel like they don't know the intricacies, but you subconsciously know what's good and bad.
Dude, some people don't.
Oh, you feel
Or
They
but
don't.
They've just
even
eaten
that
too
aside,
much
my point
too
here-
much garbage and their IQ's been diminished. Is that
no,
what it is?
but my point
It
here is
started off as low, but
no, but dude, my point here is that even those people, like them aside, good people who are looking for the truth to help their children, let's say,
Yes.
it's being like they're being actively lied
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
consistently
true.
everywhere.
yeah.
Hey, oh my gosh, no way, your kid is a little fidgety in that boring ass math class.
You need Adderall.
amphetamines.
Yeah,
This
that's
may have
terrible.
certain side effects. No.
Yeah,
You know, like a little jingle and some
that
bright
is true.
colors.
What would be the outcome if we just removed that one piece? We kept everything else the same. Right? You walk into the grocery store, you kept everything the same, but not everybody was lied to.
Well,
Things just existed.
in some countries, most countries other than America, you're not allowed to
I know.
advertise for pharmaceuticals on TV or wherever else, which is a
They
great
banned
move.
a lot of different foods too.
Yep. All of Europe has a lot of ingredients that America can just put into their food because the food lobbyists, which are very powerful people with a lot of money, say, government, you should let us do this because it keeps the cost down and it's like a drug that keeps the customer coming back for more. That doesn't fly in other countries. And so I think if you just implemented some sort of restrictions of like, okay, this food dye product that you say is like a lolly cereal for kids, we're not going to allow that actually. Like you want to make a whole grain cereal, whatever. We're not going to completely shut off free market capitalism because it's good. But that end level where any decent person can just look like, maybe we shouldn't advertise that on the TV to people that don't know any better, then
the West
we should
doesn't
get rid
have
of that.
capitalism.
No,
The
it
West has
doesn't.
corporatism.
Yeah.
There's a very, very big difference, in my opinion.
Explain it.
I would define it as like there's not capitalism. Our government bails out big companies that fail
Big banks.
when they want to, when it
Yep.
works, when it's convenient for them to do so.
Yep.
There's a lot of probably, I don't know, ill-intended regulation on business, and especially small businesses. People like, I don't know. There's just like it's set up for.
I mean, it's capitalism. There are some issues, of course.
Yeah.
It's set up for the big guy to win because they have all the money and then they can lobby for what they want. They can donate to the foundations for what they want, and then they get the policies they want.
Yeah.
And then you have to play the game to a certain degree.
That's why we need billions of dollars to do the same thing.
Right,
for
and then
the
we
good
can
of
affect
people.
our change on the world. Like I tweeted the other day. I said, look, the elites, the real red pill is that the elites, quote, elites, whatever, are pretty based because they get everything they want. Bill Gates, the pedo islands and all this, whatever aside, right? George Soros funded tons of DAs. They're going to be loyal to him. Bill Gates has hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland, one of the biggest private farmland owners in America, right? So that's great for them, and they have their opinions on the world, and they affect their change however they want, vaccines, all the garbage. What I want to do is I want to get the farmland too. I want to control the district attorneys too. I want to get to that point where we can affect our message on the world and on these, certain dynamics of society. And people got mad at me. They said, oh, you're hungry for power and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm, no, dude, that's how you actually go and make a change or get what you want at a large scale.
Mm-hmm.
But not everyone, but there's a lot of people on our side of the equation that are in our space, whatever, that are almost afraid of the power that is needed to make a change like that.
You know what it is if you have two teams, one team plays by the rules or these rules that the other team doesn't even respect. So let's say like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't want to, not that we're controlling other people, but like if the team that we don't want to win is doing all these things and willing to win by doing them, but the other team's like, oh, well, we can't do that. Then you're just going to
That's
lose.
against the rules.
Yeah. Like
Hands are tied here, pal.
You
you
step on
wanna-
the line, you're out.
win, survive, have something to give to your grandchildren,
Yeah.
then you're going to have to be a bit outside of the rules,
Grab that motherfucker by the horns.
you know?
Yeah.
That's the world we're in right now. If it was just like, yeah, this is my one vote, and oh, look, he got 100 votes more than you. He's now, like, it's not how it works, you know? Wake up.
I really do want to create a propaganda machine.
Let's write a proper.
Positive sunlight propaganda.
Let's
SolBrah's underground CIA initiative.
let's write a
To
proper
make
manifesto.
everyone tan. The what?
Let's write a proper manifesto.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be long.
I'm about
Oh,
that.
it's gonna
You
be
make
long.
like a 1-pager.
100-page doc on how we're gonna fix this thing.
Here's my
Coming
top
soon.
50. Reply dictator, and I'll send you my 50-point checklist of how I would fix this place now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it too is I don't know, we talked about this with Nick Verge, but like people are just scared because they have and Jared kind of touched on it too on the pod, like the actions creating their self-worth. I think people inherently like reject these sort of things because they know that they're not operating at their best capability.
What things?
Like they don't want to strive for.
They feel like they don't deserve it.
Yeah, I don't want to say power, but you know, their own.
Because they. Whoa, that was crazy.
Whoa, man.
Because
puberty hitting still, man.
Because they feel like they're not living the way they should be. They're not.
They know deep down that they're not.
Yeah.
And
They
it
know deep
diminishes
down,
self-worth,
right? And
to
then
the point where they're afraid to go make that like decisive.
yeah, they deep down know they're not living the way they should be, so they're not worthy of getting the thing that they should have.
Yep.
And then that reflects on the front end of them. Oh no, that's no good. Because they can't themselves get it. They're projecting.
Yeah, they're projecting, and they're saying that thing isn't actually that good because they feel they aren't worth it. It's a classic thing with money. It's like, oh, well, money's the root of all evil and stuff. Money's a tool. Money is energy. But if you think that, as I used to be, it's like I wasn't working really on my own stuff, and my health was usually pretty good. But other things, it's like I didn't feel good about myself because I knew I could have do better. And if you don't feel good about yourself, yeah, you know you haven't earned the money or the success or whatever it is that you want to achieve, the house, like not that you should tie material objects to your success, but yeah, the self-worth is the belief which then affects the outside.
Yeah. Positively inspiring the masses to
what it's
believe
about.
in themselves through constant good habits. Launch socials, propaganda, content war.
Do you think there's do you think there's a way to really cut through the noise? Like I look at Alex Jones, look at Tate. They really cut through the noise, but they did it in a way that got them super canceled. Right? Two of the guys that really did it. Even Trump. Do you think there's a way to cut through the noise and still be in a green territory?
Yes.
Of not.
Yes.
Of
I
not
think
going
somebody
there?
that has massive amounts of charisma and is truly, genuinely spreading like pure love could do it. I think like you have to find like somebody that has they're putting like just extremely pure light into the world. I think they could they'll probably get hated, right? Because that's what happens if
Do you
you
think we could do it?
give it a shot.
People are going to hate no matter how perfect the thing is.
Yeah.
Like if you're genuinely inflammatory because you want the extra clicks and everything, then yeah, you're probably going to get whatever back.
Yeah.
But I think it's not even worth thinking about that stuff. Like cancellation is just like a weapon that the establishment uses to try and counter the voice of someone that's actually saying things that diminish the power of that structure.
Who they don't control.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
controlled opposition, who knows? But
yeah.
at least there's this group saying things that are, if more people knew it, that decreases the power of the power structure. The power structure will attack that thing. And that's what cancellation is. And cancellation, you're only cancelled if you cancel yourself.
I also think I was talking with Lobo about this. I think he's right. Like, ultimately, what you need is local people. You need like a community. That's the real.
Yeah.
I think what affects change more than anything.
Local
is
sheriff.
local sheriff, just community leader. Even like, that's
Yeah.
how it used to be.
Look at our local governments now. Just a bunch of weirdos running them.
Yeah, I mean, people focus so much
Depending on
the
the
federal.
local government.
The local are the ones that actually change your life.
Yeah.
Like change the community that you're in. That stuff does matter. People say politics doesn't matter. It does matter. Like that is who
Local
is saying.
community leaders drive change.
Yeah.
If they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go outside, shake some hands.
Get out there, everyone. Change the world. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen,
Of course.
for the second episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Am I an associate yet, or am I like a?
Oh, you're an associate.
You're an
for sure.
associate.
As long as you want to be. Can we mention you in our manifesto?
Of course.
Gosh.
I'll
No.
write some of it.
But they're going to find out about our ties to the intergalactic demon deep state handlers who are funneling us cash to live a 1%er lifestyle.
You could never make this much money selling. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I was gonna make fun of like the beef jerky line, but where you don't sell beef jerky.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Thank you for
We
listening.
could
at
sell
home.
beef
Any
jerky.
last message for everyone?
Go outside, get some sun. You'll feel better and change the world.
Love it.
Amazing. Episode 28 is done.